Hello everybody out in YouTube land. Welcome once again to Lancing with Myself, the weekly YouTube show where I spend 5 minutes talking about being a freelance game designer and self-publisher, especially when you might be low on spoons or low on cash. Today I want to talk about looking forward and looking back. This is really an important and ongoing struggle when you're a creative. It can be very easy as humans to be bad at looking back and looking through time. Montages in films and time-lapse photography are things that fascinate us when they're used in television and movies because we're bad at that. Our brains are actually bad at seeing things change over time. We're fascinated when you speed that process up that we can see how small things can lead to big changes. And our brains just are bad at that. And when we look back at our progress, all we see is the last little bit of distance we've done. Like we've just turned the corner in a maze that we've been working on for many, many years. But all we can see is that last turn back there. And all it feels like is we've just walked from that distance forward. But somehow we know so intimately about the huge distances we still have to cover. This is 100 copies of Baby Dragon Bedtime, freshly ordered off the internet. And there's a lot more boxes like that. And this is a shiny new copy of the second edition. But every morning I get up and I have to think about, oh, my task now is to sell all those copies that I've ordered off the internet so that I can make my money back, not be in debt, and hopefully make a little bit of money that I can then further invest. Every day I've got to face that enormous prospect of selling hundreds and hundreds of copies of this game, and that's terrible and daunting. And when I look back, I think, well, the last thing I did was get through the terrible process of figuring out how to order all these copies, and all I've done before that was getting out how to get together the art orders and how to tell the printer exactly what I wanted. All of those tiny little steps. But what I need to also do is go back and look at what I've done. And this is what the lesson here today is, that you need to be able to keep records, keep your journals, keep your old art books, your old sketchbooks. Hang on to your old prototypes of games so you can see the processes that you've been through. You can go back 2.5 years ago. This was like one of the cards for the very first edition of Baby Dragon Bedtime, and it was a mess. Actually, the game started as a role-playing game. Then it came out as this sort of wacky card game that was turn-based, and then we finally stumbled onto it being real-time, but then it was still very complicated. Then I went away and drew some of my own art, which is pretty average. Very, very simple. But that Pete card that everyone liked was very popular. All done by my own self with just textures. I went out and bought myself a $40 guillotines and some sticker paper and some printer ink, and I made my own copies to stick on the back of a card. The day I bought the guillotine, this is what they ended up looking like. The day I bought the guillotine, it cost me like $40, and that was actually all the money that I had in my bank account. And then I remembered I'd forgotten to buy groceries already, and I actually had to borrow another $100 off someone so I could eat that week. And thankfully, I'm not that broke as I was then. And then I found, someone to help me do a proper layout. And it got square, and the mechanics got smoother, and we did lots and lots of play tests, and we came up with the idea of the original set decks, and we made more and more boxes. I got a little box like this, and then we went up again, and we went to the next version, which was actual product box, and then we went out and we got an artist, and got our money together, and we moved all the way through to a second edition, and that took 2.5 years. And I need to keep myself looking back at this little thing and reminding myself that it was just a really rough idea, because that's how they all start. And you can start and look at your ideas and go, well, this is just a very rough idea. I don't think it's a game. I don't think it's a good game. It's very difficult to see it like this. And when you see it like this, it's easy to forget that it was once like that. And you'll forget all the terrible, hard work, the blood, sweat, and indeed actual tears that goes into it all. The inches that we win by are these micrometers of success come at one at a time. And if you don't keep a record of those things, you will forget them. And then all you can see is that next battle. that's coming along, that next goddamn battle, which seems equally impossible. You've got to remember how far you come, and the only way to do that is to keep records. So don't throw things out too eagerly. You know, keep the old games, even the ones you haven't finished, because you might come back to them, but keep the ones that you're working on as well. Dig them back out, make some notes, take some photos if you can't save the space. Keep a journal, keep a record. Remember all those times that you struggled and tried and the playtesting wasn't working, because they'll help you when you get to points and feel like the next step is impossible. You can look back and you can stand on top of a hill and go, oh my God, look how far I've come. I've come so goddamn far. And every single step seemed impossible. And that will help you take the next step. Till next time, look back to help you look forward. Be good, play games, pat dogs, have fun.